welcome to episode 146 of the Planet Destiny podcast. We're back! Curse of Osiris is live, and we are here to bring you guys about an hour or so of conversation about everything going on in the Destiny universe as it is. We've got our usual roundtable of hosts, plus one. Miss Moonvald is going to be joining us for this episode. Hello. Thank you for sprinkling your radiance upon this super salty sausage fest that we call the Planet Destiny podcast.
If you think I'm not just as salty, then you have.
I hope you're saltier.
Me.
Like that was part of the paperwork. You need to be saltier than the four of us combined in order to get on this show. Because
oh yeah,
gotta have it. That's flavor. Before we get into the rest of the introductions, why don't you let us know who you are, where we can find you, and what it is you do in the world of gaming?
Well, I stream. I do a whole bunch of other stuff, but mostly stream if we're gonna talk about content. And you can find me at twitch.tv/Moonvald, as well as twitter.com/Moonvald. Yeah.
Yeah. You do the big things. You cover a lot of really interesting interviews for us at Planet Destiny, which I want to say thanks for that. That was a great idea, and I appreciate you doing it because I don't have ideas like that. I need somebody like you. So thank you. It's great. Good to have you here. And
thank you.
Should be a good conversation this week. But we've got our usuals. We've got Mr. Nim Plays, looking fresh as a bowl of macaroni and cheese. Tasty. We've got Mr. Fallout Plays, the professor of Dankology himself, Fallout Frizzle. Good to see you, man. I know your class has been disappointing you this week with over-reliance on certain heat-based weapons, but we'll get into your lecture soon, Professor. And returning, we missed him last week, like the third part of my heart, Mr. Mega Magwitch.
If your heart only has 3 parts, you're probably dying.
It's kind of like a black hole, you know. So you're a third of a black hole, and I hope you appreciate.
I missed
that.
all of you. I missed the YouTube comments telling me to stop being so sarcastic when broaching topics. Get ready for more of that shit, people.
Yep.
Oh, here we go.
You actually read the comments? Good lord. God love
only
you,
in order to leave my comments saying Fallout's hot every week, I have to at least go into the comment section. I understand.
God bless. And of course, I am the Black Link. We're back once again to talk about the world of Destiny. And some things are happening in the world of Destiny right now. We had ourselves a content release this past week. The very first DLC pack for Destiny 2, The Curse of Osiris, is live. It's out in the wilds. What have you guys been doing with it?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Good start.
Whole lot of laser beaming going on.
Oh god.
Bit of that.
I did a lot of running around a very small patrol area, opening chests before I realized I could collect materials on other planets doing activities to get the prophecies done.
I'm sorry.
All right, so we're just going to get the salt out of the way.
Let's
so
just
hey,
do it. Let's just stab it.
remember, we're just going to go through grievances right off the bat. Remember how they said, hey, we're not going to show you guys the Lost Sector because, you know, we're going to leave a little bit of that mystery in there. There's only one. There's one Lost Sector on Mercury.
Woo!
Oh my god.
That was it.
Thank God they marked lost sectors on the map because it would have taken me tens of seconds to cover all of Mercury.
Man,
To
wouldn't it
find
be
that
cool
one
if
sector.
the lost sectors were actually lost? We should call them found sectors.
Hell!
If you want, you can click X out of the Twitch stream right
Yeah,
now.
and send all hate mail to Fallout Plays on everywhere. Send it all to him. He'll grade
has
it
an
like
email.
a term paper.
I do. Yeah, on my Twitter bio.
But yeah, so Curse of Osiris is out. I personally don't think it's bad, but you know, there's not a lot there. I think it would be fair to say. Yeah,
No, by no means I thought it was a bad DLC either. I enjoyed the story. You know, it was rather short, but I liked the characters they introduced. I want to see more of them, which is what you want naturally. You know.
Yeah.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna come in swinging.
Do it.
Oh boy.
Let's give credit where credit's due. I enjoyed playing the story with my girlfriend. Took the day off. It was nice. Just took a little day off from work. We did the story. It was fun. I do wish it was a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And I did the raid lair over the weekend. That was great.
Oh yeah.
I loved the raid lair. Did y'all do the raid lair?
I actually just did. like on all of my characters did it today. It was great.
It was really fun. I continue to give props to the raid team. Whoever's designing raids over there at Bungie, you're killing it. Keep up the
doing
good
what
work.
you're doing.
The boss encounter was really fun. I liked the design of Argos with the. Did you see? He has like a little tongue. He has like a
Yeah.
robot
Yes,
tongue.
that's what we were saying today.
I thought that was so cool.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
love that
super
tongue.
super challenging boss fight. That being said, there's a shit. We're like playing in a shitstorm right now that I feel like we can't
Yeah.
ignore, and I don't want to talk about it because it gets me bummed out, especially when we have such nice people on the podcast tonight. But we have to talk about it because like we're like, oh yeah, Curse of Osiris, that's fun. The YouTube comment section right now is like, oh my god, these shields can't even talk about the problems of the game.
I guarantee you we can.
There's problems, and it sucks. You know what? It just sucks. Dado had a really good tweet a couple days ago where he's like, dude, I'm really tired of seeing Bungie and Destiny 2 in the news for like all the wrong reasons. It sucks because this is a game we like to play. We've played it for years, technically.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're counting D1 as well. Great game franchise, but like, the hell is going on right now? There were like 2 posts at the top of our gaming this weekend with like 50,000 upvotes. I was like,
Yep.
holy shit, people are just mad. And to a degree, I completely understand why. I think really, and you guys can tell me how you feel about this. I've been thinking about it a lot. I just don't like that they're presenting DLC in the way that they're presenting it. If you want to complain about you think the story's bad or it's short or like in-game, situations aside, what I'm referring to is like they're cutting people off from accessing things in the game
Yep.
that they originally had access to because they haven't purchased the DLC. That's not cool. And if we're gonna hold Bungie accountable, like they have asked us to do in
Gotta
the
call
quad,
it out.
we're gonna call it out. And this is just not acceptable, Bungie. We love you. We love the games you make. This isn't cool. And I know that a lot of people at Bungie, they probably have their hands tied. It's not like the people who are designing subclasses over there are like, yeah, definitely lock that content off. It's not like that. But it's not cool. I mean, DLC to me is like you have the game, standalone game, and then if you want more to play, you pay a little more, and then you get more new stuff. You get new missions.
The word that they use is expansion,
Right.
not
Yeah.
regression for everybody who
Yes.
didn't get it.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Didn't this happen back in?
It has.
You know what?
Not,
If
not
if
to
it
this
did-
extent, but it
Not,
has.
yeah,
Not to
I
this
don't
extent.
think they locked out the strikes, but they locked out the Nightfalls.
They did. Yeah, the Nightfall is always something that's been locked behind the newest premiere content. So every time a DLC comes out, Nightfall, stuff like that, Trials gets locked to whatever the newest DLC is.
And you know
but-
what? If I didn't speak up on that, I wasn't paying attention. But like, but
We
that's
did.
not cool because like, I mean, I probably didn't say anything about it. I was probably too busy making dumb subclass guide videos. But like, it's not okay to take away, even if it's for like a short period of time. You know what I mean? To take away stuff from people who like purchase the game. They purchase the game to play this stuff.
Yeah.
And then, like Mega said, expansion is supposed to be like you have more to do, not like, oh yeah, you have
new
to keep
stuff.
pace with the new content. Because right now you have to keep pace with the new content, otherwise you can't play everything in the old content.
No,
Like,
but-
yeah, go ahead.
What I'm curious, and this is something that I would like to see them talk about, is if this stuff is locked because of the power level that comes with Curse of Osiris, and it's like a bug that's unintentionally locking people out, or if it was intended for heroics to be locked with Curse of Osiris. Because
Yeah,
it
that's another
seems
issue.
like, I don't know. It seems like it because there's things tied to to the DLC that it'll automatically just kind of log people out, and I don't think that's something that they may have wanted to do, but they probably just like there was an oversight on.
Yeah.
A good example of that, and you're absolutely right, Nem. It's, part of the problem isn't that they're directly trying to lock people out. Sometimes it's like a consequence, an inadvertent consequence of the system of light level.
Yeah.
And a good
Absolutely.
example of that is the Legend of Acrius quest.
Correct.
which, everyone should be able to play. But when you release DLC, the instant question is like, well, how do you make the game more challenging for everybody? Because, more quests, we got to make it more challenging. Well, just raise the light level cap. And then, but when you do that, now the people who don't have the DLC can't really go forth and complete the Legend of Acreus quest, because now one of the strikes I think that you have to do for the quest, correct me if I'm wrong, it has to have the light level raised a bunch, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's raised up. The quest is already hard as hell.
Yeah.
At the appropriate light level, and now it's raised up along with the level cap to a point where you can enter it, but
you won't complete it unless you're insane.
Be able to do it. Yeah.
And to give a quick wrap up of what exactly we're talking about here. With the Curse of Osiris, of course, came some new content and also a change to the level of prestige content and stuff like that in the game. Right now, if you're a player who didn't buy the Curse of Osiris, you just have base vanilla Destiny 2. There's certain content that was available to you before Curse of Osiris came out that's no longer available to you right now. And stuff that's happened before, like the Nightfall, Trials, that's always been tied to the latest content release. I've never really been a fan of that. We've spoken about that before, even on this show. But it's something fairly normal for Destiny and fairly normal for MMOs. What's different about Curse of Osiris and Destiny 2 is that other content, stuff like the Heroic Strikes, that's locked behind a purchase of Curse of Osiris. Specifically, the Legend of Acreus quest. I think it's like step 2 after you've completed the raid. You have to go and complete a Prestige Nightfall version of the Arms Dealer quest. That quest is set at light level 300. It was before Curse of Osiris came out, and it still is after. The problem is, and I do believe this to be a coding oversight on Bungie's behalf, they utilize whatever code they use for Prestige Nightfall for that quest. So when Curse of Osiris came out, even though the director says it's a light level 300 quest, all of the enemies in it are light level 330. And if you don't own Curse of Osiris, you can't reach light level 330. The highest you can get is 305, because anything beyond that requires level 21, which is locked behind the purchase of Curse of Osiris. So that quest essentially becomes uncompletable for you. You can't get the Legend of Acreus because there's basically no way without playing, there's really just no way for a light level 300 person to complete that strike. And that's not where it ends, because another issue is the prestige version of the Leviathan raid, which of course is required to finish the final step for the Legend of Acreus quest, which gets rid of that stupid item in your inventory that you can't do anything with, and gives you the ornament. That was something that was available in the base game that can no longer be completed unless you buy Curse of Osiris, because the prestige version of the Leviathan quest is now locked at 330. You can't do it unless you have Curse of Osiris. The problem there is it's taking content, specifically an exotic item and an ornament, and a quest that was in the base game. It's something players already paid for, and now it's locking that behind the purchase of an additional DLC. That's an issue. And also, this also wraps into the notion of achievements and trophies. If you didn't purchase or if you didn't purchase Curse of Osiris and you never got the Prestige Nightfall or Prestige Raid trophy or achievement, right, you can't get that now unless you buy Curse of Osiris.
I didn't think about that.
That's something from the base game that's no longer achievable, and it's the basis for a lot of people who have over the past week or so been posting. No doubt you guys have seen it on the subreddits and on the Bungie forums about getting refunds for the game because something that they purchased in the base game is now no longer available to them. And Microsoft and Sony take that seriously. I believe it was a couple of years ago, Sony put out some guidelines for their trophy system on PlayStation, and specifically, they state specifically in their guidelines for developers, you can't put a trophy in the game that becomes unavailable unless you purchase DLC. That's like one of their big guidelines. And that's kind of what's happened here. And personally, I do believe, Fallout, you're right, that when it comes to at least the first step for the Legend of Acreus, the completing the Arms Dealer quest, I think that was a developer oversight. I think the evidence for that is the fact that it still shows up as a light level 300 quest when you select it off the map. But because they have it coded like a Prestige Nightfall, when that got bumped up to 330, so did the Arms Dealer quest. And hopefully that's going to be something that they can fix fairly soon. But overall, this is still a pretty big problem, I think, morally and business-wise for Bungie. It's resulted in kind of another PR black eye for them over the last week.
And really, that's like the last thing that we need right now. Like,
Yeah.
good
You need
lord.
another one of
You're
those.
right.
Need of those, like I need a fucking hole in my head. And it's just like, no matter, I mean, oversights aside, like I'll chalk up the Legend of Acreus thing to an oversight, a silly one, but an oversight. But I just don't like that there are people being locked out of things that they should be able to play, because that's
Right.
not what an expansion is. That's
Yeah.
not an expansion. That's like, you shouldn't have to pay continual amounts of money to keep up with the game. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah,
trying to
especially the
think of, like-
content you've already bought.
yeah, I'm trying to think of like my favorite expansion packs from games I used to play. Like, I don't know, Command and Conquer, Red Alert 2, boom, got it. If you didn't get the expansion, Yuri's Revenge, you could still play Red
Yuri's
Alert 2,
Revenge.
and you could still play with other people. It's not like you could get locked out of multiplayer for not getting Yuri's Revenge. If you got the expansion, you could
Yep.
just play that new story and have those new units. And you could play as Yuri, whose army was a cheap fucking piece of shit, but
Yep.
it was fun. All right? It's just, I'm not getting behind the nature of how expansions are working in the game right now. And I'm sure it's probably a real big difficulty to figure out, well, how do we fix something like that? Because, like, would you have two different versions of Trials? Would you have, like,
Yeah.
a vanilla D2 original Trials? Like, and if you haven't purchased the DLC, you can play there. And if you've purchased the DLC, you can play with the original people, but you can also play on, like, the new maps. I'm sure it's probably like really difficult to figure out from a game dev standpoint, but it's something that we have to figure out.
Yeah.
Or they have to figure out.
Yeah.
Because aside from the fact that it's just morally questionable, like, I'm sure the game is hurting really badly right now in a way that it shouldn't be hurting, because Destiny, in a lot of ways, is a really fun, amazing game. We all love it.
It is.
Obviously, we love it, or we wouldn't be fucking sitting here on a Sunday night wasting our time talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, that's kind of what I'm frustrated about right now.
Yeah, and it's definitely yeah, Megan. Whew, just cool me down. I need a fan,
getting
like
hot
I'm
in
in
here,
church,
people.
like a sinner in church. But you know, you're absolutely right, and it's definitely not what Bungie needed after the past couple of weeks that they've had PR wise off the launch of their first DLC pack for you know, their big, fresh, hot new game. And a solution does need to be found. They did mention that, you know, they're aware of the issue. They're working on a solution for it. But at the same time, you know, there's so many different facets to this, whether it's the trophy or the, you know, the uncompletable quest for people who didn't buy the DLC, or even something as simple as the fact that heroic strikes, something that have historically just been a part of the base game in Destiny, is locked behind the purchase of Curse of Osiris. Also, they have no modifiers, so what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
There's definite questions there, and I don't know, man. We kind of need an answer from them. Bungie says they want players to hold them to task. Well, consider this us holding you to task. You have been served with your paperwork, sir. And there's some there's some definite addressing of issues that need to happen here.
At least on top of this PR shitstorm, they didn't also ship the game with a bugged gun that kills everything in
Don't know what you're talking about.
0.3 seconds, and then say,
Don't know what you're talking about.
we're not fixing it yet, but fuck it, everyone can have it, and just turn the game into a big fucking laser explosion fest.
I
I
mean,
like that though. I
Yeah.
like that they
Look,
they
I'm not
embrace the
opposed.
chaos.
I think it's, if they didn't have a way to fix it immediately, I think it's the best solution.
Yeah.
But it's weird
Yeah.
that they're like,
Yeah.
I feel like they said that it would be fixed on the impending
Tuesday.
release
On
on
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
yeah.
So it's like, I feel like they know how to fix it, and they were just like, fuck it. Like,
Some people just
and-
want to watch the world burn, Megan.
I do. I'm
Yeah,
put me,
I'm all for it for
put
sure.
me in the category, the boat of people who voted that was their best move PR wise.
Yeah.
That was
It
the
was.
best option, because we knew that, you know, we saw that they weren't going to cancel Trials. I think a lot of people were surprised by that, and the best move they could have done was just say, all right, whatever. When everyone's super, nobody is.
Exactly.
And whatever. You know what? I get to play Destiny 2 and pretend it's year one again with crazy super fast times to kill, and then get shredded immediately because this game is insane. And I'll take that for a
I'm
couple
worried
of days.
that because everybody loves it so much, this laser tag, I'm worried for the way people are going to be when it goes away now.
Oh,
Everyone's
man.
like, games are so fast and fun now, and then that's going to be gone. and everyone's gonna just be like, "Oh shit! Now, what do I use?" Like,
You know?
I don't know.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. And
Don't complain.
I don't know. Like
They'll figure it
everybody,
That'll be
it seems
fine.
like you either absolutely hate this Prometheus lens meta, or like people love it way more than the normal game. So when it goes away,
God.
like it's
you know what?
gonna be another salt shitstorm on their hands.
And I almost wish that throughout this entire week of insanity, that this would be the weekend where Bungie devs just kind of sit back and say, maybe we've got it all wrong about Crucible. Maybe people do like a faster paced, more chaotic game. You know, we can have competitive be, you know, what we designed competitive to be, but maybe, you know, for non-competitive playlists, maybe people like a little bit of chaos. Maybe that's why Mayhem was one of the most popular modes in Destiny 1. Maybe that's why there's so many people who miss Rumble.
I had
If
fun playing
only.
the laser meta on PC in
Me too.
quick play.
Yeah.
PC quick play.
And it was my fault, to be honest, that I took PvP too seriously this weekend. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do trials carries on console.
no.
What could happen?
Yeah, you kind of made that bed fall out.
I
Sorry.
did make that bed. Hey, I'm completely open to admitting it. I have no one to blame but myself. My friend Shake, aka the Fun Police, he was like, "Yeah, you shouldn't do this." He's like, "I'm not playing trials this weekend."
Don't try it. He gave you the classic.
Yeah, I was like,
Obi-Wan.
I have the high ground. I was like, you underestimate my power.
Rip.
And then I got DDoS twice. I had a great fucking
The only thing
weekend
more
in
powerful
trials.
than the Prometheus lens. is
Who
DDoS.
DDoSes with the Prometheus lens lobby? Who does that? What's
have no
wrong
idea.
with you?
I have absolutely no idea.
What do you
It
mean?
was the dumbest thing ever. So yeah, don't don't take PvP too seriously this weekend.
Yeah.
Stick to quick play. Have your silly fun. I'll be back next weekend to whip all y'all asses.
I
Y'all
don't
gonna be
know.
fucking
This is
sorry.
my best chance probably ever of going flawless without getting carried. I just have to get
This is
the
the
first
yeah.
shot on people.
That's it.
Like,
Just
and
get
I
the
win.
first shot.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a dice roll. It's like, oh, dude, I got that sick, ridiculous, over-the-top RNG. Ha, he burned to death behind a wall. Take that.
Oh my,
Blueberry.
that's so
Yeah,
weird.
silly.
Good lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was silly. I mean, you're right. Out of all the bad options they had on the table, they were like, just fuck it, just give everybody the gun.
Just do it.
Because like, God, what else could you do? Like, if you don't give everybody the gun, then you create a huge imbalance in PvP over the weekend. And I'm not saying what we have right now is the perfect solution. Definitely not a perfect solution, but it's definitely better than having the craziest unbalance of all. This gun is like deadlier than D1 original Vex Mythoclast.
Yeah.
It's a 0.3 time to kill. Are you hearing me?
Beautiful.
0.3.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
It's nuts.
God. Yeah, Bungie, I love you. You know, this reminds me of a day I had at work when, like, I was really screwing the pooch. I totally forgot about this big report that I had to turn into my boss. I was like, shit, I fucked up. And you know that feeling when you fuck up at work, you feel shitty all day. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about? You're like
Yeah.
trying to avoid your boss. And
It's
you're
that
like,
same
"Oh,
as when you didn't do your homework and you're hoping
it's the
the teacher.
same
Yeah,
feeling,
like-
yeah. And like
yeah.
you're trying to clear your head. You're like, okay, normally when I'm at work, I dick around on Twitter. No internet today.
Not
I
today.
really fucked up. I have to really focus. Is there anything else that I have to do? Because I need to make it right. And then like 20 minutes later, you find out that you fucked something else up. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get fired. Like, this is like, I sort of feel, maybe, I'm assuming that Bungie, to a degree, feels like this. Because like, Lord knows we're going through a situation right now. And then like on top, like the cherry on top of this ridiculous sundae that we're eating, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, a gun shipped with a bug that allows a 0.3 time to kill with damage over time. Sorry about that. We're like, are you fucking serious? I don't know what's involved in the process. I'm not going to claim that I know better than people who professionally make games for a living because that's stupid arrogance. But at the same time, it's like, I'm just trying to think, how could this have happened? I'm not saying that they're stupid because to make errors, it's a human thing. I make errors. You make errors. We all make errors. But like, we really
Speak
got
for
to be.
yourself.
Okay, Moon's perfect. Moon doesn't make
Yes,
errors.
of course.
That's true. She is.
That's confirmed. Look at that hair. Flawless. But like, did they not test it because like we knew in an hour that
They were
something was
they were.
wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody was just like, trace rifles suck. I don't want to use that when they were testing.
I'm not going to in the testing. You just, I'm using this
in
thing. Using the
theory,
red
if you-
death hand cannon.
If you tested it thoroughly, they'll be like, okay, it's fine, we'll ship it. But like, did they make maybe they tested it and then made like a last minute tweak, like, oh, yeah, we'll make this tweak and then ship it. But we already tested it, it's fine. But like, then the question becomes, why didn't you retest it when you
Yeah.
make changes to whatever? Again, I don't know how the process
Fallout.
works.
How are they supposed to test it? There's no private matches. All right. What were they gonna do?
What do you want from? What do
What
you
do
want?
do?
What do you want from us?
Eval 3.
Yeah, and they probably ran up against a deadline or something. Because you're right, it's kind of hard to figure out how exactly this got through testing when we have one gun that's killing significantly faster, more than twice as fast as everything else in the game. It's like, this is fine. This is fine. But maybe it was maybe it was an auto rifle scenario, like back during the Taken King. They forgot to carry a 0 instead of bumping up the damage by 0.04%. They bumped it up by 40%. So numbers, how do they work?
Yeah, I did
Bill-
see some people suggest that maybe it had something to do with the fact that trace rifles are auto rifles, and they changed how auto rifles work, and that might have screwed
could
it up.
be.
But,
Yes, maybe.
But Cold Heart isn't screwed up like that. But maybe it's that with the area of effect damage it does too.
Yeah, because the damage numbers that it's putting out are not representative of how much damage it's doing. Like when you shoot somebody in the head and it does 16 and half their health goes away.
That is nuts.
No.
Guys only got 32 health. TVL. What the?
I guess that's it. That's what this gun does. It's not actually stronger than anything. It just negates your health. That's
This is
it.
just another one of those situations where it would be so helpful to have like a PTR. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? For those of you listening at home, PTR, the playtest
Yeah.
region, whatever it is, that Overwatch has. They,
Yeah.
like before they roll out a big old patch that they've been working on, they'll like do a test rollout in the PTR where
Yep.
people can go on and they can goof around, and they basically give direct. You want to know why the PTR is so brilliant? Because you're basically getting the community to do the work for you.
Correct.
That's got to be it to a degree, right? It's like, dude, did you test all that shit that we did? Like, just put it in the PTR, they'll figure it out.
It's fine.
And yeah, it's great. Again, I don't know. It would probably cost a shitload of money to have a PTR, but Bungie, we have Daddy Activision only a phone call away, right?
One of the biggest game producers in the world.
I'm sure it's just
Yep.
that easy. Fallout. Call up Activision.
Yeah,
and
that's-
more money for a PTR. It probably works exactly that way.
That's exactly how it works.
Aren't
But yeah.
aren't my Eververse purchases supposed to fund that PTR? Ooh. Wait. Oh, sorry. That's another.
Dial it
area
back.
that people
Dial
are
it
mad
back.
about. That's the one thing that people are really
topic
mad about that I don't get as much lately. But
What,
I mean,
Eververse?
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people I see. One of the gigantic "this is the worst game ever made" threads on r/gaming was pretty much dedicated to the Eververse being like the core root problem with Destiny 2. I don't know if that's
Yeah, if you think that's our biggest problem, you have no fucking idea what's going on. I'm just gonna say that right now. Because it's not.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of a zeitgeist right now because of course we had Battlefront 2 come out and that was an absolutely scummy
Really bad
loot
timing.
box system and then with Eververse I do have my issues with Eververse. I dislike that a lot of the things that were previously earnable in game are now in Eververse. Something like 50% of all of the new items added in Curse of Osiris are Eververse items, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with Eververse because it's all basically cosmetic stuff. Even the armor
Yeah.
set you can get in there is no different from any armor set you can get anywhere else. But I do understand people who have an issue with the fact that faction sparrows and like shaders and all that kind of stuff has basically been removed from factions in areas where you could grind for it and you could get it to basically a loot-based shop that's based off of RNG drops with bright engrams and XP scaling and stuff like that.
What's interesting is I kind of have a problem with one of the elements of Eververse, but not for the same reason that that everyone seems to think it's the worst thing for, because it's loot boxy. I don't. The fact that the armors are all cosmetic, and I feel like it's kind of because I don't know, like in a way, so it's not pay to win or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the fact that the armor's all really boring and all the same is something
Yeah.
I don't like in the game, and Eververse just kind of contributes to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Good. I was just going to say, I wouldn't agree with the notion that Eververse is the heart of all of Destiny 2's problems.
No.
It's
No.
not.
That's by
It's
far the
way worse than if only you knew how
It's
bad
just that
things
the gaming
really are.
community is riled up right now. We
Yeah.
already
Yeah,
have other
definitely.
problems with D2. We had the whole Battlefront 2 situation. It's like really big bonfire going on right now.
Oh, yeah.
But like saying that the Eververse is like the biggest problem in D2, it's like going into the ER and you're like, I have a splinter. And there's like a guy next to you who's like, oh, my ribs, they're out of my chest. It's like, dude, one thing at a time. Like, I understand that it's not perfect. Like, in a perfect world, in my perfect world, you would be able to unlock whatever cosmetic stuff you want by doing specific things. Like, not locked all behind the Eververse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I understand how that's annoying, but it's cosmetic.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? We have
I know
so
that
much
I
bigger
know that
problems
it
to worry
can't
about
be
right now.
the biggest problem because I don't give a shit about anything at the Eververse, and I never
Oh,
did
yeah.
in Destiny
Yeah.
1 either.
Yeah.
And I still got beef, so I know there's bigger fish to fry in this game right now.
Don't
All
care.
right.
There are issues. I don't think that's the
One thing
biggest
at a
one.
time.
No, Eververse is by far
Are
the
we
worst.
going to continue airing grievances? Because I want to come back around to one that TBL said, which is, what the hell is the point of a heroic strike if it has no modifiers and it's just my light level's already raised? What the
Mega.
fuck is this
I don't
thing?
get it.
Mega. They hit harder.
There you go.
It's more difficult.
More difficult.
God.
Hit harder.
You don't even like the heroic adventures have modifiers. Like,
They do.
They do.
They
Yeah.
do.
What's the word heroic mean? It's not that it has a modifier on it. Everything else has
Getting hit
that.
harder makes everything better.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Jesus.
They take more bullets and they dish out more hurt. There you go. That's
What's our
Mega.
safe word? Because I want you to stop hitting me harder.
reward is
Bungie.
your suffering. That's what you get.
we got rid of
Enjoy.
safe words a long time ago, Mega.
Mega, this year at Guardian Con, just telling you right now, if you donate $5 to my PayPal right now, you unlock the Fallout Plays Extreme High Five DLC, where I hit you so fucking hard in the hand, and then maybe like in the face. And then you'll
Maybe.
understand.
Well,
It'll
I'm
all be
confused
worth
because I already bought that last year. You're telling me I have to buy that high five again?
Yes.
Year?
This
It's an
one's
iterative,
extended
man.
high
Of
it.
five?
This one's different. And if you don't pay for it, you get locked out of High Five content, bro.
And Guardian Con. You
I can't even
locked
go
out
to
of that.
Guardian Con.
You can't,
My
even if you
ticket's
bought a
already
ticket, you
going
get locked
anyways.
out of any future panel. Sorry, man. You got to buy the DLC.
Oh, man.
God, listen, I want to stress to some of the people listening out there, because I do actually get tweets who are like, sometimes people get upset when we get overly negative. I'm sorry. I know
People
we
hate
really
us no
like
matter
being
what we do.
positive. We
Yeah.
like Destiny. I promise you. but I feel like this is something we have to talk about right now. And at least
He told us to do it. He said to do it. He tweeted out.
Yep.
All right. He said, criticize the game if you have issues with it.
exactly.
Hold my beer.
And we're doing. I'm pretty sure that we're doing this kind of fairly. I don't think
I
that we're
think we
slinging
are,
too
too.
much over the top silly shit,
No.
right?
Yeah.
I think our
we've been
points
nice.
are valid.
I think we've been nice more in our time on this podcast than we've been mean. All right, Bungie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I
that
just know
we're-
that
Yeah.
I just hate waking up on like Tuesday or whatever. It's like, you guys are so dickish this weekend. It's
You
like,
guys were my favorite thing
Yeah,
because you're the
I'm not
only ones who
listening
are
anymore.
nice. And I fucking hate you
I don't
now.
listen anymore.
I'm sorry.
It's so negative.
Well, I mean,
Sorry.
you know, we.
Sometimes. I got
Go ahead, Moon.
I got a bet.
What are some things that we like about the DLC?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that's not
raid.
completely
No, the raid
out of
was
the
amazing.
question.
I
Yeah.
loved
Yeah.
the raid. I thought it was
There's
so
a lot of
good.
stuff.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
making
like
my
the
first
new
ever
PvP
raid
maps.
yeah.
guide. Ever.
Two new maps are interesting. I think Argos, the final boss of the raid lair, is probably one of the most creative and awesome looking raid bosses Bungie has ever done. Like, the set pieces for that fight are insane. Spent
Yeah,
so much
it
time
was
just sitting
really,
there
really good.
staring at
Really
things and
cool.
dying. Like,
It's really fun.
whoa!
I haven't.
that was-
I have not had a raid experience like that since D1, and
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
by far the most enjoyable
Agreed.
piece of PVE content I've partaken in so far. So
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
they talked about how the raid layers, and everybody was so concerned that the raid layer for Leviathan was just basically going to be something slightly different than the normal Leviathan raid. It's not. It's completely
yeah.
different. It's basically a different. It's a different raid. I am now fully
Yeah.
convinced that if the third raid layer that's coming to Leviathan is going to be as different and as crazy as Eater of Worlds is, we basically got 3 raids in one with the Leviathan, and it's absolutely worth your time. You wanted a Vex raid? You got it. You got it. Go play it. It's great.
We said it on this podcast, and everybody,
Yeah.
we were like, it will probably be different types of enemies than Cabal, because
Yep.
Bungie's not dumb enough to have it be like
More
6 months
Cabal.
of the only raid thing you can do is just Cabal.
Yeah.
And people were complaining online that it was short. They were like, "Oh my god, it only took World First 2 hours to complete it." It was like, bro, they said this was
said it
going
was
to
gonna
be
be
a raid
substantially
layer.
short.
Layer is an
Yeah.
old Latin word. It means short. All right, look it up.
That's still
That's not
that's
true,
still
but-
one activity
Yeah.
that's as long as the story of Curse
But they-
of Osiris.
Yeah.
So what do you-
But they told us in advance. They're like, it's like a half raid, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's something new that they're putting out, and I like that
light.
idea. I like the
Yeah.
idea of putting out like, hey, they'll work a little bit on like a halvesies raid and put it out there because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
took us
It was a lot of fun.
Shitload of time to complete.
I think
but-
that the
No,
the
I
last
was there.
boss-
I remember.
The
Yeah,
last
Moon-
boss for
Moon
that
knows.
raid layer was better than Callus himself. Like, just
I would agree.
100
Yeah, I would
times
agree.
better.
Yeah, my favorite part of that was Fallout
oh god.
when we were trying to figure out how to do optimal DPS, and we figured out that rockets were our best option, and Fallout goes, "So does everybody have sins of the past?" And nobody responds. And Fallout goes, "So if you pull out your heavy right now, everybody pulls out their heavy right now, I'm gonna see a rocket launcher."
My finger was hovering over the boot button for like several players. I was like, someone was like,
Suboptimal DPS.
someone was like, yeah, we got it. I was like, really? So if you were to take out your power weapon right now, I would see
It's
a
like
Sins of
full
the Past
dad
rocket
mode.
launcher holding the finger over the boot button, and they take it out. I'm like, okay, good.
You know, I
Just
ran
like
it
Dr.
today
Evil.
with Rox and his crew.
Oh yeah,
And-
big man.
Nice.
Yeah, Rox. Dude, we
Cool
ran
guy.
through like on every character, and it was all auto rifles. They were like, "All right, Dan, make sure you have 2 auto rifles and at least a word clip so you can get your ammo for the ads. That's all you're gonna need." And literally, that's all you need for that last part. It's just 2 auto rifles, and then you're set. It was fast, like it was insanely quick.
It's the raid layer. I would definitely consider a triumph of Curse of Osiris. It's probably the best bit of content that's come out of that. Maybe even the best bit of PvE content in the game currently. And yeah, if we get another raid layer like that, absolutely worth the time. So yeah, there's one thing we like.
With and they have the potential to do a lot more with
Yeah.
the Infinite Forest. Particularly
absolutely.
the Infinite Forest.
I think that's underutilized, as a matter of
Oh,
fact.
yeah. I mean, I did like a little video of it, and right now, as it stands, the Infinite Forest just kind of feels like a very, very big interactive loading screen. And
The first part, definitely.
yeah, it's just pretty much your gateway from like point A to point B. You don't really spend a whole lot of time there, but like the areas that they created for Curse of Osiris, like past Mercury, are absolutely stunning, and that's something that I would love to see in the future for us to be able to go
Yeah.
and patrol around, because that was
You want to see the past in the future?
it was beautiful.
Let me
Left side, right
let me
side.
live on Precursor Mercury.
Yo,
because-
like
Yeah. That's
oh
fun.
my god, that
So-
was
the set
Thankful.
pieces in this are absolutely gorgeous. Like I don't think anybody can deny the aesthetics of Curse of Osiris are amazing. Past Mercury is
Great.
my favorite place in like possibly the history of Destiny. When we got there, I streamed the campaign as soon as Curse of Osiris came out, and when we got there, I was just like, "It's Africa! We're in Africa!" Whipped out Spotify, and I'm like, "Toto, Africa now! I swear, go to any one of those adventures that take you to Past Mercury." There's nothing that 1,000 Vex or more could ever do. Yeah, it just go there, sit there, and play that song, and you can't tell me that past Precursor Mercury isn't like an amazing looking world space. I want more of that.
Gorgeous. It's super.
Yes.
Did anybody else get like super No Man's Sky feels from Past
Yes.
Mercury?
Definitely.
yes, that was the first
Definitely.
thing I thought.
Yeah,
when
like
you
just
voted me
how
Osiris
vibrant
there.
it is.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I love
Beautiful.
going there, and and you know the same thing for I think even the future Mercury looks super cool with the
yeah.
burned out sun and like the Vex eyes off in the distance and Saint 14, but you're not supposed to know about that yet. But he's totally there. But it's
Wait,
it's
what?
nothing. Don't worry about it. I didn't say Saint
There's
14.
no floating body thingy.
There's no
Link,
floating
why?
body of Saint 14 hidden behind the big
Link,
door
why?
for future quests. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We didn't data mine that.
Eh.
But yeah, you know, I think the Infinite Force is a really cool concept. I got a little bit tired with the beginning sections of it. Every time you do an adventure, you have to go through that, basically like Nim said, that interactive loading screen to get to the actual simulation itself.
Yeah.
But I love it, and I'd like to see more of it, and I think there's a lot more that they could do with the
Infinite
concept
Forest,
of the Infinite Forest.
is the greatest concept utilized in like the most minor way I've
Yeah.
ever seen. You could use it for anything. It's a
Anything.
simulation. It's okay. Give me
the
this.
Matrix.
I think it'd be.
Yeah, basically.
I was playing and I was like, why isn't this the framework for the Crucible? Are we running around killing each other, or we could just say it's a simulation, and then you can change the rules and shit in the Crucible however you want. You
That's
can
where
have,
private
like,
matches come from.
Yeah.
Private matches
Mega.
will be.
We're making a new video game
Boom.
tonight.
And I'm
call
like,
you.
do it if they wanted to like bring back old like raid content from the previous games.
That's
if they
how
ever
you could
wanted
do
to
it.
do that. Throw it in a fucking simulation. They can
There you
have
go.
anything you've killed come back. Any encounter, you can go back to it in the simulation. And instead, it's not that, but
Dude,
it
one
could be. And I
could say-
It
want
can
it.
be like that shit in the X-Men. What is that called? The Danger Room?
The
or whatever it
Danger
is?
Oh
Room.
yes,
Yeah,
it was the
the
danger
Danger
room. Dude.
We've got the Danger Room, and they just use it for like Vex gardening on 3 different adventures. It's like this could be so much more. And there's so many different things, lore-wise and gameplay-wise, that you could do with this. And it's
Yeah.
like, what is it? Goth said, "Why wouldn't you do it? Just do it. Just do it. You have so many excuses there, and oh my gosh,
Unlimited possibility.
unlimited
I
possibilities."
want to find out that all of Destiny 2 took place in the Infinite Forest. We've been trapped there.
We're
and
still
then
in
it's
it.
Destiny 3.
Oh man, yeah, there's a lot there, and I like it. I do. I like the Infinite Forest. I want to see more of it, but
Yeah, it was really
Yes.
good.
Don't
I
we
like
I
have?
have a feeling it will come over time.
And hey, Osiris
they'd be,
now has
they'd be
control
stupid
over
not
it,
to
so-
utilize it.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, Osiris does have control over it, so that's a thing.
Don't we have more beautiful stuff coming this Tuesday? Don't we have like another update?
The Dawning,
possibly the
right?
Dawning, right? Coming.
I think
That
so.
we get,
They're
we
gonna
get
be
Masterworks
Masterworks,
weapons
perhaps?
too.
Masterwork weapons.
That's happening this Tuesday. Yep.
Fingers
The
crossed, those don't suck.
I'm curious. I still am holding out hope that since they help generate orbs, that maybe speeds up Crucible a little bit by helping you gain maybe just that one more super than you normally get, in a game.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm hoping.
I want you to be able to tweak the rate of fire or the impact with the masterwork on the weapons.
Me
'Cause
too.
I think that would just be just enough of a tweak, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe just enough of a tweak to make things a little more interesting than they are now.
absolutely completely changing the archetype of some weapons, putting that kind of control into players' hands would, whew, create your own meta, baby. I love it. So yeah, Masterworks are coming.
Sorry, I just thought of
Get
I don't know
extra
why
orbs.
I didn't tweet out a meme of the Prometheus lens with Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2 with the power of the sun in the palm of my hands. Sorry, that just hit me.
Yeah.
Do
but-
it.
Out of
That's your
nowhere.
job for tonight. Do it
Fine.
after this show. You have to. You don't have a choice.
All right, perfect.
But yeah, so we've got a bunch of things coming up this Tuesday. I think, the biggest of which is probably going to be Masterworks. We've got the Prometheus lens fix coming in. Hopefully they don't carry the one incorrectly on something else, and, it
It'll be
becomes...
broken AF and PvE now.
Yeah, it'll just one-shot everything in PvE. We can leave it that way, actually. I kind of want that in PvE.
Nice.
But, what else? I mean, there are some other things in Curse of Osiris that I'm sure everybody here has enjoyed.
New exotics. Anybody got anything they like yet, or
Prometheus lens.
No, actually, I don't think the only piece of new exotics that I got was the Graviton Forfeit today.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's got a changed up effect because everybody has Shade Step now, right?
Yeah, so it specifically gives you longer lasting invisibility, and meanwhile you're invisible, your melee recharges faster.
Oh, cool.
It probably gives you I was trying to measure it today, and it probably gives you like a 10 to 15% boost on your melee energy. It's not super significant, but
Cool.
yeah,
I'd imagine if you mix that with armor mods, that
yeah.
could stack up to something fairly significant.
Exactly. Yeah, it just depends on how you build it. Because the same thing with the Karnstein armlets, which got recently updated,
Yep.
and they went from suck to awesome.
Yeah.
So they now basically give you a baby version of Devour for any Warlock subclass. So that's neat.
Does it still proc on Storm Trance shocks?
Well,
Ooh,
Storm
yep.
Trance, not sure. I didn't test the The
'Cause
super.
that's basically how I used Karnstein, since Stormtrance has such a hard time gap closing, and that's so dangerous in Crucible right now.
gonna
I
have
was
to give
using
it a
those.
shot.
Yeah, I was using those basically because each tap of your Shocky Shock touch gave you a little bit of health back, so it kind of helped you gap close a little bit easier without getting team shot down like a dog in
Well,
the dirt.
I know beforehand they like increased the health recovery, but they didn't. I don't think they straight up gave you like a solid boost. I think now they just straight up give you like a 20% of your health back.
Oh, that's okay. I can deal with that.
It's literally like a baby devour. You get a melee kill and you get some health back. It's really
cool.
neat.
Speaking of baby devours, anybody use the Crimson?
No, not yet.
I haven't got it yet.
I haven't gotten it yet. No.
I have. I like it. I like it. Crimson is, of course, the Red Death hand cannon, and it's cool. It's basically got a version of the Red Death ability from Destiny 1, where when you get a kill, it starts your health regeneration. Now, unfortunately, it's not like Devour. It doesn't instantly give you your health and your shield back. It just starts regeneration back to max. And if you get a precision kill, it refills the magazine. So it's super useful for PvE, and it's okay in PvP. Time to kill is a little bit high for a hand cannon. But it's also something we've never really gotten before in a 3-round burst hand cannon, which is super weird.
Trespasser.
Not a hand cannon.
But I'm sure the time to kill between both of those is close to the same.
Somewhat similar, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it just seems like it because I mean, I can't imagine a hand cannon with like the impact that it has being a 3 burst
Yeah.
and not having a like fast time to kill.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I think if you land all precision shots, I think I think it's on low and high armor targets. I think it can be a 3 burst if you land all precision. So it's like 1.13 seconds. But its body shot time to kill is super slow. It's like 1.43. It's super. It takes like 4 bursts to kill, which can get you killed a little bit in that there PvP. But in PvE, it's great. I love it. Being able to have, especially as a hunter, being able to have a reliable way to start off health regeneration just like that while also getting your ammo back. It's cool. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Is the ammo from reserves or does the ammo come
Yes.
back from? Yeah,
It is from reserves.
I was hoping for like a black hammer kind of a thing.
No infinite ammo for you.
Wah wah.
Dang it,
Yeah.
Bungie! Why?
Anybody gotten their hands on Jade Rabbit?
No.
I
No,
got
not
it.
yet.
I got it. It's the only one I have, but the Prometheus lens exists, so
So
like,
why?
I didn't even buy
Yeah.
it.
So he'll use it
Yeah,
next week. He'll
Yeah.
use it next week.
Like I got it, and then I was like, okay, this gun's bugged. I'm gonna use it instead. Like Zer's selling this one that's way better. Why would I even try
Yeah.
right now?
Why would you use that?
Fair.
Oh, okay.
That's-
I'm being
yeah, that was
corrected
fair.
in chat. Apparently, Crimson doesn't pull from reserves, so it is ammo from nowhere, Nim.
Oh,
Ammo from no.
oh, neat.
Ooh.
Bungie heard your prayers and they answered you.
Thank you.
Immediate.
This is
Immediate.
Primary.
that we-
Immediate
we
patch.
want.
Should be
Juggler.
immediate. Goddamn.
This community.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I
that's the
really
only
want to get my
exotics I've
hands on
got.
the colony though.
I don't have
Oh,
the
yeah.
Ophidian.
Spider gun.
Oh,
Yes.
oh,
I want
actually, I
that.
do have that, but I haven't used it yet.
I
For-
actually
again,
I hear
don't
it's
even
super
know.
good.
I haven't
reason
even
that Mega
seen.
mentioned.
I haven't seen anything of it. I didn't look up any of the. I didn't watch like the last trailers or look up any of the guns or armor that are in Curse of Osiris. I still don't even know what all is out there. So
Do
I
you
know
like
that spider
do you
gun.
like to shoot
by
little
name only.
nano spiders from grenade launchers that will chase people? Mega.
Do you want a grenade launcher that actually kills people in Crucible? That isn't named play of the game.
I don't know how I feel about
Still don't know.
That's the colony.
this. I don't know if I'm ready for
excited.
this. I imagine
good. I want it.
whenever I hear it, all I imagine is like when Spider-Man has like a tracker spider.
little
in
tracker, yeah.
cartoons.
Yep.
I just picture those. So I hope that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's really neat. I've gotten killed by it several times, and like you can hear the little thing after you, and it's like, oh no, 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 and then you're just gone.
No,
Rip.
no.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Did I hear you say you got Ophidians?
I do have Ophidians.
Not you, Fallout.
Ooh.
Get destroyed now.
I want to hear Fallout. Tell me.
I don't have them. I reviewed them because a follower of
Poser.
mine knows how much I love them, and he was like, "Fuck you, Mega." He
That's what he said to Fallout. He said, "Fuck you."
he
Mega."
let me use his account because he's really nice, and I played on him for like 2 hours, and they feel really good. I'm super sad that I don't have them on
Yeah.
either of my accounts. They're so good.
They're really good.
The reload speed is like huge, and the ADS speed is like not super great. But even if you can ADS your weapon a couple frames even before
Yeah.
the other guy can, that's still an advantage.
That helps.
And the melee range is awesome. Like it's such a great piece of armor. I really need it. Sir,
I've
please.
been trying to use those because I was trying to get footage for PD on them, but dude, I like got them at the wrong time with the freaking Prometheus lens just running rampant. Every time I try to get a melee kill, it's just like, oh, nope, tap, you're gone.
Dude,
okay.
Same thing for me with the Crimson review. Every single game I went into for the PvP footage, at least 2 Prometheus lens users. This is before Xur sold it, so it was rough getting just blitzed everywhere and trying to get footage with that thing.
Yeah.
But so Ophidians have seen a change. They got a melee range boost, right?
I think they equate right now to like a Titan using Synthoceps.
Really?
It's like quick plug, if you go to youtube.com/Fallout Plays, I have a video that shows the exact range comparison between Synthoceps, Ophidian aspects, basic Stormcaller melee, basic Warlock melee. It's like a hair away from Synthocept range. So basically it's pretty much Synthocept range.
That is glorious.
And
That's
it's
exactly what I
amazing
want.
because the Voidwalker loves Devour, and you can trigger Devour on a melee kill. So it's just such a perfect fit for me. I love it. I need that armor in my life more.
Yeah.
At least us hunters
I
are
get
the best right now during this Prometheus lens meta. We got that going for us.
Yeah, y'all got that. Hold it next Tuesday. Yeah, I want to get that thing. I haven't had a chance to every freaking exotic engram, which I've only gotten 3 since Curse of Osiris came out. They keep turning into like Wardcliff, and it's like I don't need this anymore. I don't want this anymore.
I keep getting fighting lions, and oh, it's so insulting.
you
It's
got a
so
bunch.
fucking insulting.
Fighting lion.
I don't want these.
Cammy, somewhere out there in the wilderness, Cammy Cakes just felt sharp pain in his heart, as if a million fighting lions cried out and were silenced. But it got a buff, you know. I've played around with it in PvE, and you know, at least it reloads itself more often now.
At least it does that.
Yeah, it does that again. So yeah, yay, fighting lion. I'm still not going to use you seriously.
No.
Not until Bungie buffs you and makes you the meta, just like No Land Beyond.
Oh god, I want Helm of Saint 14. That's what I'm after.
Yeah, I want that too.
What I wonder what's the range on that guy, because now when you shield with your defender, like you blind people.
Yeah,
A la Purifier
wondering that
robes.
too.
Yeah,
Res
so I
D1,
really want to get my hands on that and see how far that like blinding range is, because that sounds awesome.
like I'd imagine you have to be directly in front of them.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like Link with a mirror shield just firing light out. But
That'd be
but
so cool.
that'd be cool. I haven't really seen anybody use it, at least, you know, in PvP, and I haven't been able to get my hands on it. But I would wonder what the range on that is. Yeah. And is it going to be like something that activates every time you shield, so like you can kind of spam blind?
Right, or if there's like a cooldown behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want it.
Big questions.
One thing that hasn't popped up yet, and not sure if this is tied to like one of the prophecy verses, which is the weapons that you can grind your little heart out in, you know, from Brother Vance. Is
We got to talk about that.
Yeah, it's the legendary shotgun of Saint 14.
Yeah.
Because they showcased that several times during the trailers, and it's still something that's not popped up anywhere.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that it's going to be tied to whatever quest brings us to Saint 14's corpse.
Yeah.
Or floating
I
vector.
need it.
Floating body. I'm pretty sure that I actually think that might have shown up in one of the data mines, like that there's a world quest tied to Mercury right now that's not active, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be Saint 14.
I would hope so.
Please,
That would
Bungie.
that would be awesome. I mean, we have his ship now.
Yeah, we've got his ship, and it's
Yes.
super cool in Eververse, but still super cool. But you brought up the notion of the forged weapons in the lighthouse, and that's something we didn't get a chance to talk about, so we can do that really quickly before we move on to questions, because it's almost that time. Get your questions ready, everybody. But has anybody gotten to the point where they're grinding out any of those wall weapons?
That's what I'm currently doing right now.
Oh yeah.
You did one mega?
Yeah.
You
I
too,
got a
Nim?
scout rifle.
I have,
I don't
yeah,
like
I
it.
have,
Fallout ain't got no time for that nonsense.
I got the scout and I have the submachine gun.
Okay, well, that's good. So you two will be a great source of information for people. It's very grindy getting those
super
things.
grindy.
I think for your first weapon, you need to do like 20 public events, which okay, that's cool. For like the second or third, you need to do 60.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
To be fair, I didn't get any Raidalorian things like from public events at all.
Yeah,
I just opened
yeah,
up
there's-
chests.
the
That's how
best
I
way
got
to
It
multiple
do
ways to
helps.
do
online.
It helps if you're in a fire team. I think it like doesn't it like raise your chances.
Nah.
Not
Something
entirely
like
sure,
that.
but
Nobody wants to
yeah,
play with
Mega's
me, Moon.
right.
That's why I haven't done the
gotten a
raid
lot of
layer,
them
all right?
from chess.
Rip.
No,
Yeah, I mean-
play with me.
It's a definite grind to get those things, and I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers, Skill Up. He just put out a review for Curse of
I
Osiris.
thought I was the
Ooh.
only YouTuber
I
you
heard-
watched.
Yeah,
I heard about that. Was that video good? People have been.
It
telling
was
me to
very
watch-
good.
People have been
It's-
telling me to
it's-
watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. It's kind of like the start of this podcast was very melancholy. He feels about Destiny 2 basically the same way we do.
Yeah.
And one of the things he talked about was players' desire, not only for something, not only for a grind to go through, but for something worth grinding for.
Yeah.
And when he got to the point about the forged weapons in Curse of Osiris, he says, yeah, it takes 20 public events to get the first one, like 60 to get the second or the third one, and it just goes up and on from there. And it's like Bungie, in his words, it's like Bungie took the wrong lesson from player feedback. They saw people saying, hey, we don't really have anything to grind for in this game, and thought, oh, we'll just give them a grind. But nothing really to grind for, because
Nothing
of course
super meaningful. I mean, they're not that
Yeah.
great to begin with.
they're not that great.
Yeah.
A lot of them are reskinned weapons, like the pulse rifle it's the Stranger's rifle, just with some Vexy Osiris stuff all over it. And he talked about how he didn't really feel like, for the time investment there, it wasn't really a worthwhile reward for him. And he just really didn't feel too much desire to go grinding more public events to get the rest of them. And I just thought that was a really important and really interesting perspective there, because I play MMOs and looter shooters and stuff like this all the time. I'm fine with the grind. Monster Hunter is one of my top 5 favorite gaming franchises of all time. I'm used to grinding. But you got to have something that's worth grinding for. Like, there's got to be some sort of pot of gold at the end of that rainbow that you search so long and so hard for. And when I kind of looked up the wall weapons, the forged weapons, I don't really feel a need to go after them. So I haven't done any of them. None of them. I've beaten Curse of Osiris. I've gone and done the raids and trials and all that.
The only
Haven't
thing
touched the wall
that I
weapons.
really feel like was worth my grind and like I was really proud of myself was the Legend of Acreus
Yeah.
shotgun.
Yeah.
Because that was like, it's literally kind of like the gamer's ideal grind situation. You see a gun, you're like, what is that? That looks really cool. How do I get it? And then you see it perform. You're like, oh, hell yeah. I
Yep.
want that. And it's like you grind and you earn it. You know what I mean? You really earn that gun. And then not only do you earn it, you have to continue working to upgrade it. And I thought that was
Yeah.
so cool because it was like, I kind of thought it was really good, but at the same time I was like, oh, it has a really major drawback, which is it just has the one round in the mag. And someone was like, well, if you keep grinding and you keep earning it, you get an upgraded perk where you get 2 in the mag, and then it becomes like insane. And I was like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, dude. Fucking sign me
what
up
I
for that.
want.
And I really legit worked for it. And when I got it, I was like, dude, this is goddamn awesome. Because and it's not to the point where you can really abuse it in PvP, to the point where it's like, oh my god, dude, this is just obnoxious. Because it's a power weapon. Power weapons are supposed to be powerful. They're supposed to kill you in one hit. So how do you make a gun better that can already kill in one hit? You give it a ridiculous damage drop off and the ability to
Yep.
wipe a whole team if they're all kind of holding hands with each other with one shot. But yeah, I think Bungie really nailed the feeling of power and accomplishment that you get with unlocking and upgrading the Legend of Acreus. I think they did a great job, but it was such fleeting ecstasy. Cause I don't have that feeling anymore. There's nothing else on paper in the game that I'm like, what am I trying to get? And all the stuff I'm trying to get is just tied to random bullshit RNG. I want the Ophidian aspects, but there's no quest to go get them or whatever. I just have to keep pulling the slot
my-
machine
that's my
lever
problem with,
until I
like,
get them.
Everything that they add, like, even getting these forged weapons, it's just all it is just keep playing everything, keep doing everything you were doing.
Same
Like,
old
that's
thing,
it.
yeah.
There's not a new thing or any specific
no
action
incentive.
I can
Exactly.
chase that's the optimal
Yeah.
way.
And it's not
lined
unique.
out for me. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
exactly.
unique
Acreus
fun
was unique
thing.
because you had to go
Yeah.
into the raid and do specific shit, and then
Yeah.
you know, more stuff like that. Bungie, please, you nailed it with that weapon and
They
that
did.
quest, but like we need more of that.
Agreed. Agreed.
Agreed.
Even when I think of like boring grinds in Destiny 1, like the exotic swords have like the most boring
Yes.
grind of all
the
time.
planetary.
But
Wizard.
how-
Right.
But it's
How
it's
good
a
were the swords,
specific
though?
goal I'm chasing that I know, and
Yeah.
it's like I'm only doing this for this thing. It's not I'm doing the same thing I've been doing every day for nothing, but now I have a new thing to do for that same thing I've been doing every day. Like,
And you know what? I regret not doing it. And people, when I tell people that I didn't grind for those swords, they're like, "Dude, you didn't get the what was it called?
You
Light
missed
Razor
it."
in D1."
Oh, yeah,
I was
man.
like, "Yeah,
Oh.
I know because I
Raise
played
ladder, yeah.
PvP with my girlfriend, and she was like." Like ripping people in half with that goddamn sword, and it was just beautiful. It's like even in
Yeah.
PVE, it was like the
Yeah,
sword
man.
to have, or like also
Yeah.
the purple. What was it? The
Dark
dank drinker.
Dark
Dark
Drinker.
Drinkers.
Yeah.
Spinning around against the
Death
raid
Tornado.
boss. Super funny.
Caster.
I honestly I didn't have enough time between all the shit that I was doing. I was like, I just don't want to sit down and grind for it. But I regret
That
it.
was a hefty grind too.
It was a big
was.
grind. I knew
I did
exactly
the
what was
Dark
involved.
Drinker
I was like,
grind on PlayStation in one day. I remember doing it on stream. It took me like 8 hours of just fucking
Yeah,
farming.
You were on a
plant
Titan,
materials
weren't
I
you?
to
got too much
go
going on. I
fight.
can't do it. But
It was
stuff like
terrible.
that. But do you feel really accomplished
Yeah.
that you?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
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 Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Got it, and then you use it to like
you
destroy
go.
Axis in Destiny
Yeah.
1 when you all have Dark Drinker. Oh, that's where it was at, man. Ooh.
It's like Mega in slow motion, and they're playing
Yeah.
that song. It's like so happy together. As he's like cutting enemies in half, left and right, big smile on his face.
It was worth, man.
You feel accomplished for unlocking that stuff. So
More of that, Bungie.
more of that.
More of that.
Yes, please.
All right, we ready for questions? Get a couple minutes of that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Questions.
Quick questions, go.
Let's do it. Ooh, Triggerblade off with a good one. If your parents or siblings were guardians, what would their class be?
That's a good question.
Yeah, let's start with Moon.
Oh, my dad would be a Titan for sure.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be a Titan.
He's built like one. He played football in high school and college. He's a Titan. Yep. Yep.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
All I know is it would be something void because they avoid me. So
Oh my
wanna hug,
god.
buddy? You want a hug? I'll fly over there.
Mega with the saddest Christmas story. I like to imagine
let you go,
little,
baby.
little baby Mega was just left on the doorstep of an orphanage, just full beard. Just little baby with a big beard. Love me.
exactly how it went down.
Dude.
Sheesh. Oh, man. So your parents were just like light machine guns. They were out of there.
Yep.
Non-existent. Rip.
Ooh.
Mad about it, Bungie. I'd say my dad would probably have been a Titan. He was a big football player in college and
Yeah.
was in the military. So yeah, definitely a Titan for him. My mom, I want to say she's a warlock because she'll put a knife in you, or a hunter because she'll put a knife in you. But she's a warlock because she'll mentally put a knife in you as well. So I'm not sure what to do with that.
Yeah, man.
Good question. Good question.
Yeah, I like that one.
I saw are we excited for The Last Jedi question? And
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Hell
put my I'm gonna avoid the internet, but if I do stream
Oh, yeah.
on I know some people are gonna be seeing it like Wednesday in other like countries. So if I stream Thursday at all, I'm gonna put my chat in like fucking follow me for a month mode or something. Like I don't trust anybody out there. In the
1 year
world,
sub.
All right, yeah. Like
Don't you dare spoil it.
I'm terrified of spoilers. Terrified of it.
It's gonna be rough when Thursday rolls around. You have to be dodging. You're gonna be shade stepping all parts of the internet by the time Thursday hits us. Woo!
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. Hey, here's a good question. What are a few tips for a new streamer who knows nothing about how notifications, overlays, etc. work?
Ooh.
YouTube videos.
I would
Yeah,
say,
just
I was gonna say what
Google
Moon
your
does.
ass
Go to-
off.
I
Yeah.
know. Every
The
single
internet is
day
your
I
friend.
Google how to do something don't quite understand it, try to do it anyway, fail like 6 times, and just keep fucking with it until it kind of works a little bit.
Yeah.
Like that's
don't get discouraged like if you don't know how to do something or if you mess up. Just keep trying to figure
be
it out.
prepared.
You'll get
to,
it eventually.
Yeah, every
Literally,
single person who
every
has like
problem.
a perfectly put together stream had like
It took us a
800
long time.
crappy
Oh my God.
ones before that where nothing
Dude.
worked right, things just broke, audio got off of sync, like
Yep.
everything.
And my
was
stream
wrong.
still isn't perfect. There's still
Nobody's
problems
is,
that I
yeah.
experience on my
Yeah.
Twitch stream that like, but every problem that you have, just Google it. There's a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Some
Also-
random kid will tell you how to do it.
Oh yeah, there'll be some 12-year-old who's got like the most professional
Yeah.
stream setup. Just
Yep.
watch his tutorial video. But a quick tip for you if you're looking, to set up some quick overlays and like notifications. OBS is where you should start. That is, it's a free open source streaming program. It's absolutely customizable. It's what I'm using right now to stream this podcast. And you might want to check out websites like Streamlabs or
Yes,
whatnot.
Streamlabs.
They can help you with notifications, setting up even stuff like donation notifications and follower stuff like that. Nightbot as well, very helpful.
I was gonna say if you don't have a good enough if you want to stream but like you don't have a good enough computer or you don't have a
Yeah.
computer, if you're literally starting at that level, you can look into streaming directly from your console. That's
Yep.
like the bare basic way
Yeah.
to do it. But
Yeah.
a lot of people have started that way.
That's how
A lot of channels got
I
big
did,
with that.
started
yeah.
that way. He got partnered all on console. So
Shake,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
Did you say
Crafty
Shake?
as well.
Yeah, Shake,
Crafty got partnered straight.
A lot
to
of people
stream-
have started
streaming
off
through
on
his
console.
PS4.
Start
And-
there, learn about it, and then when you feel like you're at a good place and you can feel confident about streaming from your computer, then look into OBS
Exactly.
and Streamlabs and all that stuff.
because
and,
the key thing, all those frills are just that they're just frills. They're
Yeah,
little
exactly.
extras. The stream is not about those things. It's about
Nope.
you.
Yeah,
you.
don't feel like you have to have
Yeah.
like all the little bits and bobs that everybody has. If
Yeah.
you just keep it minimal, you can still find a lot of success that way.
And when you go live, don't tag other people on Twitter when you tweet out that you're
Oh,
going
please.
live. That's super
Yeah.
annoying.
And don't
Don't
go
do
in
that.
their
I
chat
understand
and be
that-
like,
that
hey, I'm streaming
networking-
right now.
Yeah, I understand that networking is a struggle. It is.
It is.
You'll find ways to network, but don't be like, hey, tweet out, hey, I'm going live, and then you tag like 30 people. I'm like, yeah.
Especially the biggest person you know. Don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that.
I tweet
You'll
at
get there in
Fallout
time.
every time before I go live, though. Hey, Fallout, I'm streaming.
I'm gonna tweet your ass tomorrow. We got time for maybe one more question?
Oh man, I see 2 really good ones though.
Okay,
And-
lightning round. Lightning round it.
Lightning
Go.
round.
All right, we'll do the big one last. So one, Jad Edge. I hope I said your name right. What do you think they should touch up on in the next Sandbox update in Destiny 2? What would be the next on your big list of things?
Man, for me,
This
probably
is
the
the small
mod
one?
system.
Mod system?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
I'm gonna say weapons. Guns from a PvP standpoint. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Fallout on that one.
Ditto all that because it's supposed to be lightning round. I don't have a short, concise answer.
Dang it, Mega.
Ditto. Yeah, weapons. That'd be a big one. And for a final one, this is a bit more existential. What's the current state of Destiny 2 after the DLC? And I thought this is an important one to end on because, of course, we've had some really rough weeks with Bungie, and it's left Destiny in kind of a precarious position.
Yeah.
But if I can start things off, I would say Bungie's got a lot of work to do. I don't think it's a stretch at all to say that. They've definitely got a lot of work to do because they really do have something good here. They really do have something special with not only Destiny 2, but the entirety of the Destiny franchise. They have an incredibly passionate fan base, like one of the biggest of any gaming community I've ever seen. I mean, shoot, there are still times you can go and check player numbers before, Destiny Tracker hit them. There's hundreds of thousands of players who jump onto this game just for trials every single weekend. The Destiny community is massive, and they do have a lot of work to do. I do believe they have a good product on their hands, but they will need to focus on making some big systemic changes in the future if they want to continue with the type of success that they've had. They've made a lot of missteps. Absolutely a lot of missteps, especially in the past couple of weeks. But I still think there's hope. I still think there's a lot of hope for the Destiny franchise because, after all, I mean, you're sitting here watching or listening to a podcast about it. Obviously, there's something about the game that you enjoy, and there's some kind of reason that brings us all back. Of course, Nim doesn't agree. He's dying from laughter because he thinks
Nim,
you guys actually play Destiny.
Can you please take this seriously, Nem? All right.
Yeah, you ruined my
Omega.
heartfelt speech. It's done. It's
done.
over. My career
I
is
want to
ended.
answer TVL's question as well.
I'm sure you do, man. I'm sure that's like the highest thing on your priority list right now.
Where the question was, what's the current state of Destiny 2 after the DLC? I would say pretty much the same state as before the DLC. It was
Yeah.
a very lateral move, not any forward progression or any real steps backwards. Just kind of you gotta like a couple weeks more of guns you can go for if you go for the forged ones and you want to get the exotics, and then you're kind of right back exactly where you were in terms of what now, like, which is
I feel like Bungie right now is playing Jenga in reverse, and they're just trying to patch all of these little holes before their tower falls. Because like
Reverse Jenga.
Destiny 2, like it has like so much potential, but I feel like they tried going this like completely like different route from what worked with them in Destiny 1. It completely bit them in the butt, man. And like it's hard to see.
Yeah.
It's hard to see it happen because like Destiny 1 ended in I think Destiny 1 ended in a good note with, you know,
It did.
everything coming, you know, up to the current power or light level, and, you know, having the raids with their fresh ornamentations and whatnot. Like, there was a lot to do. And, you know, we're going from such a saturation or oversaturated, like, you know, Endgame, where we had so much to do, over back to, like, starting from, you know, bare-boned vanilla, and now we are playing that waiting game again. So yeah, it's rough. I mean, again, I love the game. Like, I still play this game like on a daily basis, like even if it's for a couple of hours, and I want to see this game be the best that it can be. But you know, they just got to keep working on it.
Yeah.
And they will. And it's going to take a lot of patience from us
Yeah.
as well, which sucks, but that's the way game development works. It's
Yeah.
not going to happen overnight.
Absolutely.
So we just kind of have to wait it out. But I don't know. I have faith that we'll be
Voice
in
your
a good spot
complaints.
soon.
Keep Bungie accountable. Do it politely. Do it professionally.
Absolutely.
Well put by everyone on this podcast. And I think on that note,
That's it.
we've come to a close for tonight. So I will go ahead and say thank you for all of you for watching. Please type in the chat anyone that you would like for us to raid tonight on the Twitch channel. You can join us for live raids after the podcast if you join us on the PD podcast, which is every Sunday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, which may change in the future. More on that later. But
We're fielding some things.
we're way over time. I'm going to quickly call out each one of you. Just please tell them where they can find you quickly. Mega, where can they find you?
Twitch.tv/MegaMag, YouTube.com/HuskyRaid.
Nem, where can they find you?
Twitch.tv/Nemplays.
Moon, where can they find you?
Twitch.tv/Moonvald.
Link, tell them.
Literally everywhere at the Black Link. Everywhere. Your McDonald's at the Black Link.
Love it. Same for
Serve
me
you
at
fries.
Fallout Plays. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Keep the faith. Enjoy the update on Tuesday, and we will see you next time.